Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic. I'm back with my Friday comic book review video, and those of you in the know who have subbed to my channel, who have watched Wednesday's video already, will know that this week I only picked up 2 books. So I'm expecting this video to be relatively short. However, who knows what tangents, digressions I may go on along the way. It certainly has given me a long time, or much longer time, to kind of ruminate and think about what I thought of these 2 issues. There is, of course, this week no pick of the week. I don't think I could pick between just 2 books. One is from Image, one is from Marvel. They are kind of like at the polar opposites of kind of what they are doing in their respective publishing houses. So to compare the 2 and then to kind of choose one, kind of a la Sophie's Choice, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to kick off with the big one from the big 2. And that is Secret Wars issue number 1. But before I talk about the actual book, I'm going to put it down. I think I wanted to first address why I decided to go with Secret Wars, because obviously the big 2, DC and Marvel, are pushing ahead with their 2 huge events, which are very similar in some ways, in the sense that they're rebooting, in a sense, introducing old characters that they discarded in the past, and in some ways they are trying to appease the older generation who were collecting comics kind of pre-52, pre kind of the Marvel Now era. So we kind of get this element of them looking back and taking what is hopefully the best bits that we miss from their old work. But, you know, money is a factor, and I couldn't pick both up. So I had to make a decision. And the reason I picked Secret Wars over Convergence is because, well, of course, this issue, well, not particularly this per se. This is the original Marvel Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars from 1984. Now, I've talked about in the past, you know, my introduction into comics, my history of comics, and I spoke about when I wasn't even a teenager, back in like the mid-70s, maybe late 70s, I used to get given comics as a kind of reward for traipsing around the city of Liverpool as my dad canvassed for a political party. And those were generally, for some reason, they were Batman and Superman books, they were DCs. But I didn't kind of grasp that there was this huge world of American comic books until this issue, when I was somewhat older, in my kind of mid-teens, and Marvel had a kind of a UK publishing house where they reprinted in a larger format these books. So a year later, in 1985, the UK were introduced to Secret Wars as a UK publication. It came out fortnightly. It was 27p, which is just like a minuscule amount if you think about it today, and it was in this kind of magazine format. It was about, I think it was about 15 or 16 pages long, and for a 12 issue kind of maxi series that this originally was, it took 31 issues to tell the whole of Secret Wars. You could get, like, there were free gifts on the covers of them, like rub down transfers, there'd be badges, there'd be posters. Unfortunately, I don't have any of these issues left. They've all gone. They're probably filling some landfill somewhere, rotting away, unfortunately. But when I was making my decision, this is what pulled me. It was this sense of nostalgia. I am, at my roots, a Marvel fanboy, and I have had and have been for many, many years previous to now, where my Marvel is practically non-existent. I have maybe 2 or 3 titles, and 2 of them are not actually on my pull list. I pick up if they're on the shelf. So I wanted to get back into the Marvel Universe and going somewhere where I know it's not going to be the same. I know that, but there is this sense of nostalgia. And so that's where our new one, Secret Wars 2015 style, comes into play. So what is Secret Wars 2015 all about? Well, when you bring it down to basics, it is our Marvel 616 universe colliding with the Earth 1610, which is the Ultimate Universe. That is something I did not know, as in the number of the Ultimate Universe. And it's huge high octane, it's action all the way, where after about 2 or 3 pages we are thrown straight into the action, and it just doesn't let up. There is a kind of interesting kind of bit, a kind of a prologue, I guess, so to speak, or something that's going on outside of all this, where we have this introduction of there's Doom, there's Doctor Strange, and I believe it's Molecule Man, who are facing Beyond, in kind of quote unquote. And I don't know whether this is a reference to the Beyonder from the original series, but it is this god-like entity that is all-powerful, all-consuming, omnipotent, and of course Doom wants that power. You can see it in his eyes. We get a brief glimpse of the 3 of them. How they are connected in that, I'm not sure, because this is, I suppose, the one big problem with jumping on with this issue, and it's something that a lot of people did mention in my Wednesday's video in the comments, that if you really want to know what's going on from here, you have had to have read some Marvel titles previous to this, and it seems to be of the general opinion that it's Hickman's run on kind of Avengers and New Avengers that you need to read to kind of be on board with this. This isn't new reader friendly, to be fair, let's be honest, but if you're brave enough, if you're up for the challenge, then by all means get on board this, because it is a fun, exciting event book. It sets up kind of the action part of it, the danger part of it, what happened before. Who cares? We want the action, and this is certainly what you get here. So what we have is, like I said, the 2 Earths colliding. So on our 616 universe, we've got the Fantastic Four that are trying to take off from the planet in their kind of resurrection arc, which holds all kind of the bright minds, the scientists who are going to rebuild the human race somewhere on another planet. But then we have the kind of Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe, who, quite honestly, and I've not read any of the kind of Ultimate FF of recently, and what their kind of position is in the Ultimate Universe, but he comes across as kind of a dick. He certainly has some sort of secret, again I say, is an evil plan up his sleeve while he is set off the Ultimates, headed by Nick Fury, to kind of battle on with Earth 616. So we have kind of the big guns like Ms. Marvel, we've got Hulk, we've got Thor, all the big powers going off up into the sky to challenge kind of Nick Fury's people coming down to Earth 616. While we have the street level characters who are trying to save the people, the normal humans, from dying basically, from all the big explosions, the buildings toppling. And I guess this is part of, some problems with the issue as it is contained here. In that, let's begin from the top. I'm guessing it's like, who are we meant to be rooting for here? The heroes of Marvel 616 were on their side, but we have the heroes from the Ultimate Universe. Are we meant to be on their side? And then that kind of leads on to the question, do these two kind of superheroes of each Earth know of each other? I'm sure the planets didn't just kind of pop into existence next to each other and started colliding. There must have been some element of, oh shit, look up there, there's a planet coming towards us, let's go and see who's on that planet, or the other planet can say who's down there. And you know, could they have not tried working with each other to try and maybe, I don't know, pull the planets apart? But their go-to card is, yes, let's fight, which is all very good if you're a comic book reader. It makes great sense for action and adventure and just pure fun entertainment value. But from a plot point, it seems quite ridiculous. Again, with the whole street level characters trying to save the people of Earth, and this only seemed to happen in the Marvel 616 universe, I hasten to add, it does seem a bit pointless. Because the planets colliding seems to be inevitable. Like I said, there's no one doing anything to stop them from colliding. So I don't care if you're trapped under a building. I'm not going to waste some time picking it up because there's a planet that's going to smash on your head and I can't stop that. And again, so bits of that seem to be a little fillerish, I would say. I mean, this is a hefty volume, you paid a little bit extra, but there's plenty more pages to quantify that extra money you're paying here. And my only other criticism of this was, despite the fantastic artwork by Rubik, I wasn't quite sure which characters belonged in which universe, whether I was looking at an ultimate version of a certain superhero or I was actually looking at the kind of original Marvel 616 version. But apart from that, it was a fantastic issue to, you know, set off this Secret Wars event. I had a great lot of fun with this. I've read this a few times now. That's how much I liked it. I wanted to squeeze every little bit out of this comic. There are loads of characters, even if there are brief glimpses of them from all eras of the Marvel Universe. I can't wait for the next instalment. However, I did feel, given that I'm a new read to this, I thought this might have helped me out. Secret Wars issue 0, it came out on Free Comic Book Day, and I was hoping this would help, especially any new readers, to kind of catch up, to understand exactly where we're going to go with this. If we're being thrown straight in the middle of it here, at least use this to catch people up on how we've got to this point. But instead, and I had a big problem with Free Comic Book this day anyway, but that's a totally different thing. But this was just the FF kids kind of joking around, really, making sarky comments to each other, and didn't really kind of address what was about to happen until it came to the very last page. So I think with this, it was a missed opportunity to help new readers out, such as myself, to thoroughly get on board with this. But still, Secret Wars, even though I haven't read DC Convergence, I'm pretty sure I've made the right choice. So I'm finishing off this video with the only other comic I got this week. It was the wonderful Descender from Image Comics, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Dustin Nguyen. And it was another fantastic issue that raised some very interesting and intriguing questions along the way. For those of you who haven't been reading this, Descender is a kind of sci-fi post-apocalyptic universe where pretty much the world was kind of taken over by some kind of huge robot which kind of turned the thoughts of the human race against robots, and robots were basically kind of destroyed, distrusted, disliked, hated, and they've basically become nigh on extinct. At the end of the last issue, we saw our main character seem to bite the bullet. Tim 21, our robotic boy, who had woken up on this planet to find everyone around him had died. And so we had a kind of band of scavengers riding the spaceways come down the planet, and Tim, trying to save himself and his robotic friends, ends up getting shot and dies, if a robot can die. And so it kicks off in this issue with Tim 21 being carried inside by a kind of manual robot worker called a driller, hoping to revive Tim 21. While this is going on, Tim 21 is kind of, he's in a kind of dreamlike state, I guess. And there are kind of allusions to a robot heaven of such. He is kind of going towards the light. He's being kind of coerced into following a robot that's very run down, it's broken, it's got its arm ripped off, but it's kind of beckoning him closer to a certain area, like, you know, you walk into the light, walk into the light. And it is an interesting concept that Lemire is drawing here. We have Quan, who was the human robot creator, and the rescue mission headed by Telsa on their way to the planet, as Tim 21 seems to have within him something that can be, I don't know, is it the saviour of the planets? He certainly must have some information locked within him that if he does have total power failure, then it's lost, and therefore all the planets are lost too. So they do get to him in time and revive him, and as Tim 21 recounts his kind of dream, which they obviously don't believe because robots can't dream, then where was Tim 21 is the question he poses right at the end of it. If I can't dream, then where was I? The art inside here by Dustin is fantastic as always. I don't know whether it was deliberate, and I'm pretty sure it probably was, but there are moments in the issue, especially inside the spaceship, which has this almost kind of whitewash, sparse, almost unfinished look about it. But I think it's purposefully done that way, the very minimalistic, clean, space age kind of setting that kind of is there to mirror, I guess, well not mirror, but juxtapose the kind of run down, dirty, outside space debris, which is wonderfully drawn and painted by Dustin here. Just another great issue of Descender that I just love to bits. It's shaping up to be a very, very interesting series, And once again this first story arc gets finished, it's going to be interesting to see where Lemire then takes this story. As you know, at the end of each of these issues, I'm sure it's been in every single one, we have descriptions of all these different planets, and I'm presuming, you know, they're going to come into play at some point, and have an effect, or the finding of Tim 21 and whatever he is housing within his robotic body is going to have consequences that is going to affect all these planets. So very much looking forward to see where Lemire will take this. And those are my books for this week. I'll say it again, all 2 of them. Thank you for watching anyway, if you've got this far. Many thanks. Hopefully next week I'll have so many more books to read and review for your entertainment. So until next week, I hope you enjoyed your books. Let me know in the comment section down below if, you know, Secret Wars, was it all it was cracked up to be? Did you enjoy it? Were you a new reader to this and as confused as I was? Were you an old reader and just as confused as I was? Who knows? But just let me know down there in the comment section. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see some new subscribers, and give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Until next week, more comic books please. Bye bye.